You're listening to The Bird Bath. This episode of The Bird Bath is brought to you by Anti-EU and Cascadia Research.
If you're working in animal health, nutrition, or ag tech, this one's for you. This March, we're bringing Anti-EU, Animal Health, Nutrition and Technology Innovation Europe, to London from March 2nd to the 4th. Anti-EU is all about bringing the right people into the same room, from founders, investors, researchers, and industry leaders, talking honestly about what's working, what's coming next, and where innovation in animal health is really headed. Over 3 days, you'll hear from experts across biopharma, nutrition, technology, and diagnostics, and you'll have plenty of dedicated time for meaningful conversations and connections. If you're building something new, investing in the space, or simply want to stay ahead of the curve, Anti-EU is the place to be. Find out more and register now at antieu.com. You can use code BIRDBATH for 10% off, and we'll see you in London.
Welcome back to The Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know, so let's get into it. Kicking us off this week is a report that each season, I guess they do it seasonally or biannually, and it's one that I really enjoy. It's Cascade Capital. They released their winter 2025-2026 pet industry overview, and it's always a great read. It's something that has a lot of depth to it. They do a great job digging into it, and in this report, they laid out what they call the K-shaped reality. They're seeing a split here, and from the Cascadia report, they said higher income households are still splurging on premium pet services and products, while others are pivoting to private label and budget options. So essentially, the market isn't really shrinking, it's diverging. They show that pet prices have soared 29% above where they were in 2019. And Cascadia points out that veterinary services are up nearly 8% year over year, and that inflation in the pet sector is outpacing the general consumer price index. Additionally, thinking about that K-shaped economy that we're seeing is Cascadia notes we're seeing a barbell effect. There's growth at the high and low ends, while all of that pressure is forcing on the middle. People might be feeling that, right? There's more pet parents either going full premium or they're going bargain shopping. So that gives a real opportunity for private label brands to be gaining ground here. One of those big standout stats was that growth. Private label now makes up 19.1% of unit volumes. In other words, retailers are leaning into store brands to meet the budget-conscious pet owners. Ultimately, Cascadia sums it up by saying the industry is rebalancing. They say, in this K-shaped economy, it's all about understanding which side of the curve your customers are on and meeting them there. So it's all about figuring out where the split is, where you fall. And if you want to look through the full report, be sure to check out this week's Substack. On Thursday, we'll have the full report linked in our newsletter. You know, I couldn't go a week without talking about the AVMA. The AVMA has followed back up on the Department of Justice. They told a Tennessee federal court that the government's concerns about professional groups are irrelevant to the veterinary school's antitrust case challenging the association's accreditation requirements. So the AVMA sent a letter back through the court systems to the Department of Justice as well as the U.S. government, saying that the DOJ's criticism that we covered 2 weeks ago, maybe, those criticisms are irrelevant. The core lawsuit and the antitrust case that they have shouldn't be allowed in court. The association should not be held liable simply because it sets the professional standards, particularly standards that states reference in licensure requirements. In other words, they're pushing back against being blamed for antitrust issues that stem from bigger requirements across the entire system, right? They're saying just the licensure or the accreditation of the university isn't all that falls on the AVMA's plate. It's a lot of things that fall into the state's licensure framework. So it's a bit of a rebuttal. Both obviously are not key aspects. The Department of Justice was just a sort of a little ping into the radar saying the things that they think about what's going on in the case. It was interesting to see the AVMA step up and put their rebuttal back out there. Overall, the argument is that the accreditation standards are about educational quality and professional competence, not anti-competitive barriers. So to sum it all up, if you want to just think about this, and obviously we're going to keep staying on top of this case, it's going to be a long time unless it gets dismissed, which is the next thing that we'll see. The message from the AVA really is, hey, don't blame us alone. Many of these requirements come from the state's licensure framework. So individual states, in the AVMA's view, are just as much a part of this discussion as they are. Purina announced some big winners in their 2026 Pet Care Innovation Prize. Companies that win the award receive $25,000 of non-dilutive funding from Purina, as well as a real opportunity to learn from a massive, growing company that leads a lot of things in our space. The companies that won, there were 5 winners that many of you know. We've got Innovative Pet Labs, which is a company offering simple at-home tests that translate pet biomarker data into actionable insights. We've got CoVet, which is an AI-powered clinical co-pilot designed for veterinary professionals, automating soaps, transcriptions, consultations, and streamlining communication. Next, we've got Pet Packs, which is a Boston company, which does veterinary-approved supplements, and they use a fast-dissolving oral thin film, which they called Supplemelts, with the intention here of allowing dogs to reduce the stress as well as make things a little bit easier on their owner to get those supplements to their pets. Positive Touch, which is a wellness tech company, puts together wearables as well as their proprietary software to monitor and actively regulate dogs' emotions and behavior in real time. So it's going to be a cool one to see. And then finally, Chef Paw, which is a personalized pet nutrition company that weighs, cooks, and mixes fresh ingredients into balanced homemade meals tailored to each pet's needs. So a full gamut of things, but congratulations to all the winners. Is it too soon for me to talk about maybe wanting to be a winner? I don't know, but hang with me. The Bridge Club has released their nominees for the 2026 Bright Minds Awards. And guys, I am without a doubt beyond honored and excited to have been nominated for the Industry Influencer Award. The cool thing about these awards, besides the fact that it's been won by some really cool people that I've looked up for an extended period of time, is that your vote counts. Right? Half of the votes come from the general public, and half of the votes come from the previous Bright Mind Awards winners. So voting is live now, and it closes on January 26th. So you've got a couple weeks here to put your vote in. I would greatly appreciate it, as well as the other people that are up for other Bright Minds Awards. There's 3 different categories with a ton of great people all nominated across them. So be sure to go to the link in the show notes, as well as going to the Bridge Club's website to put in your vote. AAHA has a new sheriff in town. Dr. Brady Beal has been announced as the new CEO for AAHA starting in April. She currently serves as an associate dean at Penn, where she is also the hospital director and chief medical officer of the Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine's Matthew J. Ryan Hospital. She's been in the AAHA world for quite a while, running an AAHA practice, and it's cool to see a DVM taking the lead here. AAHA's been through some changes over the past few months, past year, to really look at how they're going to be tackling this next wave of things. We're seeing a lot of new accreditation and certifications entering the field, and AAHA is looking to really solidify their place in the game. OpenVet has released what they're calling a new professional standard for AI in animal health. It's the new Veterinary AI Safety Charter, and they're taking it as a comprehensive framework to define how artificial intelligence should be designed, deployed, and governed in veterinary medicine. It's a bit of a call out for anyone that wants to maybe find a guiding light in how they're going to be taking on things. We've seen the veterinarian's oath, we see the technician's oath, we see a ton of oaths, and this is a bit of a call to AI companies in the vet space and in the animal health world to maybe think about and look at how they are going to be utilizing and developing their systems. So the charter sets out a clear professional boundary for clinical AI. Artificial intelligence may support veterinary care, but it must never replace clinical judgment, diminish the role of the veterinarian, or compromise the welfare of the animal patient. So kind of a clear layer there and a clear idea. There's 3 different layers. There's foundational principles, there's operational processes and requirements, as well as governance and cultural commitments. So they have the why, the who, and the how for people to be able to go in there and maybe just judge how you're doing based on OpenVet's version of a veterinary AI safety charter. Now, we covered OpenVet a little bit ago when they were the first AI company to say that they passed the NAVLE. Now, I know that had a ton of hair on that story, but it was definitely a cool one. It was something I found very interesting because it was a story that made a lot of sense to me. We should be looking at having, our AI tools that are practicing be able to pass this and maintain and control and call on the same information that we're asking the veterinarians to be able to call on. Now, it's interesting that OpenVet brings out this AI safety charter because if you pair those 2 things together, the fear of a lot of people of saying that an AI tool can pass the licensing exam is that you're maybe diminishing the value of the education. But by adding a safety charter with that, it's maybe a really cool way for people to be able to increase the conversation around this. I know that it's going to be something I'm going to be interested in asking people about. So give it a read. Let me know what you think. And the place I'm going to be talking with people about it is at VMX. I will be at VMX this week and into next week, Friday through Tuesday. It's a jam-packed time. It's I guess I'm a crazy person, but I love conferences. I think Bob Lester said it best when he said, I love coming to conferences. It's where I see all my friends. So I feel the same way. These are events that I absolutely love doing. I love having this full schedule. If you're going to be in Orlando, be sure to reach out. I'm always interested to hear what you see happening in the industry. I'm always curious to get feedback on the show, ways that we can improve, ways that we can bring you more news, and looking forward to seeing everyone there. This episode of The Bird Bath is brought to you by Pearl AI. Pearl AI is an affordable, always-on AI veterinary solution that combines AI with a team of real, licensed U.S. veterinarians. Get the best of both worlds, the speed of AI and the accuracy of human professionals. With Pearl AI, your clinic can offer real-time 24/7 coverage without hiring extra staff. It also automates screening and triage, lowers your operating costs, and turns more of your site visitors into paying clients. Integrate Pearl through a simple web snippet or API and start growing your practice while you sleep. Learn more at pearl.com/thebirdbath. That's pearl.com/thebirdbath. For more info on these and other stories, join us by subscribing to our Substack, where you'll be able to see the full Cascadia report. There's a link in the bio, and don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. For The Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. See you next week.